Jensen, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Liz. Great to see you.
Good to see you, too. Listen, at $46.7 billion, you broke your sales record, and you expect to do it again, right, in the third quarter? Your sales guidance, $54 billion, is above Wall Street estimates. I need to know right off the bat, what customer demand are you seeing right now that gives you that confidence?
We are at the beginning of the AI revolution. In the last year, extraordinary progress was made in AI. AI can now reason, basically think, do research, use tools, solve problems. That's the reason why ChatGPT has become so good. Because, you ask it a question, and it goes off and thinks about it, does research, does things for you. It's incredible. And so we're seeing AI going into every industry. From, of course, the clouds, the enterprises, industrial with robotics and automation, and, of course, self-driving cars. Just everywhere we're seeing AI adoption really, really growing fast. Now, at the core of our business, we launched the second generation of the revolutionary Blackwell architecture. It's the first of its kind type of AI supercomputer. This is the second generation of Blackwell. We call Blackwell Ultra. The code name is GB300. Everybody calls it that. And we ramped $10 billion worth of GB300 in the first quarter. And next quarter we're going to ramp really, really hard. So we've got a lot of build out to go.
Yeah, it sounds like the fire is really hot. I mean, your second quarter earnings though did show, and everybody's talking about this, so we got to bring it up. 0 H20 chip sales to China, even though earlier this month President Trump reversed that ban on those sales in exchange for a 15% cut of your China revenues. And then the forecast for this quarter assumes again 0 H20 chip sales to China. Are you guys just being conservative, or have you seen orders from China come to a halt?
We haven't seen orders yet, but we're hoping for orders. H20 is really a fantastic product still. The price performance, its cost efficiency, and its ability to generate AI tokens is really terrific. So I fully expect and I hope for POs for H20. America being able to have the world build AI and build software on the American tech stack helps America win. And President Trump understands this. And I'm very grateful that he approved the licenses of NVIDIA H20s for Chinese customers that are not on the entities list. And so I'm hoping we're now free to be able to sell to them. When the orders come in, we have some H20s built for this coming quarter if the orders come in. And so whatever comes in as a bonus on top of our guidance. And our guidance, as you know, is already quite significant.
And when those chip orders do eventually come in, quite frankly, I'm surprised you say that you haven't gotten any orders yet. But when they do come in, what kind of numbers, what kind of revenue do you foresee for that?
The AI market in China is probably about $50 billion to us. Several quarters ago, we were running umpteen billion per quarter. And then when H20 was banned, it went to zero. And so my hope is that we'll be able to go back and address a significant part of that $50 billion. And it's growing, just like the United States is growing. And the rest of the world is growing in AI. So the China market is definitely growing really fast, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you've made it clear you're eager to sell not just the H20, but even the Blackwell, your most powerful chip, to China. Have you had that conversation yet with the Trump administration?
I've started to have the conversation with them. I think that the conversation will take a while, but President Trump understands that having the world build AI on American tech stack helps America win the AI race. And he wants American technology all over the world so that the whole world is built on the American standard, like the US dollar is, the global standard. And so I'm very optimistic about it. I don't know the time frame for it, and we'll continue the discussion with him.
Let's say he says okay, but demands the same as he's demanded for the H20, and that's a cut of those revenues. I mean, has this precedent been set and you'll be forced to say yes?
I don't know that it's forced to say yes, but ultimately, it's in the best interest of the world, of our country, for us to be able to sell in China, have China's AI companies and AI researchers build AI on top of the American tech stack. And so whatever it takes to get it approved for us to be able to sell in China is fine with us. And we just want to make sure that the American tech stack is the world's global tech stack.
I get the motivation, and it may be fine with you, but is it fine with shareholders? I mean, you've got shareholders. What if they start asking, say, for example, whether it's the White House or NVIDIA who gets to decide how much of the profits you make stay with the company?
These things have a way of working itself out, like pricing, as with all things. Ultimately, the more we sell, the better it is for America, and President Trump understands that. And so I'm delighted that we have H20 licenses approved, recognizing at all times that China has more and more alternatives. Their local companies are very competitive. This is a country with extraordinary skills and extraordinary capabilities, and manufacturing, as you know, is their home court advantage. And so we do not ever underestimate them. And so the sooner we get back in there and compete for a share of that marketplace, the better.
Listen, overall, you've got the kind of problem other companies are going to have, and that is demand far outweighing supply. Are you still there? I mean, we're hearing that for every one Blackwell chip, there are 10 different orders for them. Is that about right? And where are you in the supply balancing out with demand scenario?
Well, we did $46 billion, as you mentioned earlier today. And over the course of the next 5 years in this decade, I estimate probably about $3 to $4 trillion of AI factory infrastructure will be built out. Out of a gigawatt data center, for example, the gigawatt data center is like $50 billion all in. Out of that, about 30 to 35 billion of it is computing and networking and all the type of computing gear that NVIDIA provides. And so NVIDIA's opportunity within that $3 to $4 trillion within this decade is quite significant. So we're in the beginning of this build out, and so we have many years of growth ahead of us.
And it looks like it. I get that, but OpenAI, Sam Altman, you've partnered with him in the past, and you're doing so, I believe, with Stargate. But he mused recently that there is a bubble, and that basically would suggest that spending on AI cannot continue at this torrid pace. Do you see a bubble? Are you with him on that?
I see a very different picture. In fact, OpenAI is doing incredibly well. They just had their first billion-dollar month. This is a company that was in generating revenues not so long ago, just about 18 months ago. And so it's extraordinary growth. In fact, if you take all of the AI natives companies, and there are so many of them that are doing well, Perplexity, Cursor, Abridged, so many. I mean, the list goes on. Of course, Google Gemini is doing incredibly well. Elon's Grok is doing incredibly well. And so there's so many different companies that are doing great in AI. This year, we estimate about $20 billion of AI native AI revenues from $2 billion last year, a tenfold increase in 1 year. And don't forget, AI has only been generating revenues for about 2 years. So in only 2 years' time, it's now $20 billion. And that's just one. We see AI in enterprise as a result of open source models. We see AI in science with digital biology. We see AI in robotics and industrial manufacturing.
Runway, yeah.
There's so many new factories are being built all around the world. So we're seeing AI everywhere.
Jensen, NVIDIA just unveiled, this is sort of the futurist part of it, the Jetson Thor chip. This is the so-called robot brain that will enable people to train robots, to develop them with so much more compute power. And eventually, I mean, we want to know how you see robots eventually, I guess, making decisions without human prompts. And where does this eventually take us? I'm asking you to put that futurist hat on.
Everything that moves will be robotic. Every car, every tractor, every excavator, of course, there's going to be robotic manipulators in factories, robotic movers for moving inventory around. There will be robotic humanoid robots that are very general purpose. We're going to see robotic systems of all different kinds. They're going to be in hospitals doing robotic surgery. They're going to be in factories building things. They're going to be in farms doing agriculture. I mean, it's just incredible, the number of robotic systems. Every single robotic company or industrial company will have two factories. There's the factory that builds the machines, and then there'll be a factory that does the AI, that processes the AI factory, to create the brain that runs in the robot. And so NVIDIA covers the entire spectrum of computing for AI, everything from the cloud to enterprise on-prem to robotic systems. And so it's going to be a really exciting future. And we're going to have all kinds of machinery to help us do things.
And that would mean that it's helping people have more free time. I mean, you talk about productivity gains. So that really becomes the big question. How do you envision our world changing? Do we start to see every country go to a 4-day work week because productivity gains from AI have been so meaningful? I mean, do you see the chatbots become people's friends so dating apps go away? In your mind, what are those future prospects?
I have to admit that I'm afraid to say that we are going to be busier in the future than now. And the reason for that is because a lot of different things that take a long time to do are now faster to do. And I'm always waiting for work to get done because I've got more ideas. Most countries, most companies have more ideas than we know what to pursue. And so the more productive we are, the more opportunity we get to go pursue new ideas. I fully expect GDP to grow. I expect productivity to increase. I actually expect us to have more things to do. It is probably the case. And Liz, I'm hopeful for that day too, so that we have 4-day work weeks, and so that we could, spend more time on the weekends with family and get some reading done and do some traveling. And, nothing is better than that. We came from a world of 7-day work weeks, and now we're in 5-day work weeks. And every industrial revolution leads to some change in social behavior. But I expect the economy to be doing very well because of AI and automation, and I expect, us to enrich our lives. Life quality will get better, of course, over time. Some jobs will go away. Many jobs will be new and invented. But one thing for sure, every job will be changed as a result of AI.
Jensen, it's a fascinating time, and people should take note of NVIDIA's position in all of this, but also where we go in the future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Liz, it's great to see you. Thank you.
Jensen, it's great to see you. I want to start actually putting China a little bit to the side and asking how you would characterize underlying data center demand ex-China right now.
Incredible. We had a record quarter without China, and we just guided another record quarter without China. And so the fundamentals are this. One, we're in the second generation of our Blackwell architecture. Blackwell is revolutionary. It's got this new NVLink 72 rack scale computer. The entire rack is one computer, not a whole bunch of computer nodes connected together, but it's one connected supercomputer. And it came just in time because of this agentic AI technology that has emerged in the last year or so, which causes the AI to be able to think. It can think, it could do plan, it could reason, does research, use tools, it could use a web browser, it could use Excel, it could use SAP, it could use ServiceNow, and it could use all of these tools to solve problems, work with other agents, for example. So the amount of computation has gone through the roof. And meanwhile, all of these AI native companies are coming up with all these exciting new applications. At NVIDIA, we use Cursor. It's our AI programmer. Across the entire company, everybody's using Cursor. The amount of code that we're generating and checking in is just incredible. Our productivity's gone through the roof. And so OpenAI, as you know, had $1 billion month. It's incredible growth. If you look at the AI native companies, last year, they did $2 billion altogether. The first year of AI revenues. The second year of AI revenues, $20 billion, 10-fold increase in 1 year. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I see AI opportunities, obviously, across all of the clouds and enterprise and industrial applications and robotics and self-driving cars. I mean, just digital biology and drug discovery. We just see that just AI is just deploying everywhere.
Jensen, you mentioned on the call that China would have been a $50 billion total addressable market this quarter, and then this year, and then you would have seen it go to 50% next year. How do you get to that point with the administration where you can see those kinds of gains?
Well, first, I think President Trump really understands and really wants, and it's his policy to have America win the AI race. And that's really foundational. Recognizing that that's important for national security, it's important for our economic security, it's important for American leadership around the world. And he understands that the American tech stack should be the world standard. Just as the American dollar is the world standard that economies are built on, we want the American tech stack for the world's technology and industries to be built on. And that includes China. And so if you look at China, China has 50% of the AI researchers in the world. They have lots and lots of AI companies, and they have lots of AI chip companies. Without us there, they will obviously have their own alternatives, and they've been growing. And you've seen some of the AI chip companies have record years. Their stock prices are record high. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunities there. If we have an opportunity to go compete for that market, it would be great for America. It would be great for China. And we have an opportunity to go capture some of that $50 billion that is growing at about 50% every year. The second largest AI and computing market in the world. America should be part of that. It's great for exports. It's great for our treasury. It's great for American technology leadership. And it enables us to leverage that leadership all around the world. And so really important for it's just an incredible decision by President Trump. I'm very, very pleased with it, very grateful for his decision. And we're gonna do our best to go capture some of that market.
And talk to me about what it means for NVIDIA specifically, Jensen, because, even at full strength, China was about, call it 10 to 15% of the company's sales. And so I'm curious if you think of China as a nice to have or a need to have for NVIDIA, and whether you need sales into China to keep up the pace of rapid growth that you've been experiencing.
Every American technology company, for every American technology company, China is important to have. It's an important market. It's dynamic. The companies there are vibrant, innovative, fast-moving. That's one of the fastest growing technology markets in the world. The technologies that are used there, the services that are created there, the open source models. China builds most of the world's open source models today. And DeepSeek, of course, we've spoken about before, really important model. Q1 from Alibaba, really excellent. Kimi is excellent. Moonshot's model is excellent. There's a whole bunch of really excellent models. Another one just came out, Seed from ByteDance, really excellent. And so the open source culture is really vibrant there. Those open source models has spread all over the world. They're used by startups all over the world, including here in the United States. It's used in enterprises all over the world. Open source models is making it possible for people to create market-specific, domain-specific, and company-specific models. Really important for American technology companies to be able to run those models really well. And so I think China is just an important market. It's also, as you know, it's just really large. It's the second largest computing market in the world. I'm just delighted that President Trump sees the wisdom of American leadership, and particularly at this time where AI is taking off. It's vital that America wins the AI race.
And so, Jensen, what now needs to happen, right, to get you there, to get not just you there, but other American companies there? How do you overcome that sort of political hurdle?
Well, for a while, these American AI technologies are stuck in limbo, And so now we're getting the engine fired back up again. And so I'm looking forward to, and I hope that the China market and the Chinese government will allow American technology companies to be able to sell to the Chinese customers. There's a lot of demand there, although there's a lot of alternatives there. The China AI technology companies are really good, as I mentioned. We can be very competitive. You know, as this is you're talking about America's technology industry. It is our national treasure. It is incredibly competitive, and we have every opportunity to succeed in China market if they would allow for American technology companies to be able to play there. And so I'm hoping that things will get sorted out. I believe there's a lot of demand for H20. The CUDA ecosystem is really vibrant in China. We've been there for a very long time, and so we can add a lot of value if we can get back in. And so, anyways, we've now taken care of we've now been approved to and licensed to be able to ship to China. Now we're looking for orders in China, and I'm hoping for it. If it doesn't happen, of course, we've already guided to another record quarter next quarter, and the China business would be a bonus on top of that. But hopefully we'll be able to address that 50 billion, growing very fast AI market long term. Really important for the United States.
Jensen, I want to get a little nerdy here. The networking business, right? That came in up 98% year over year. You announced a new product where you're kind of able to merge data centers into kind of one super GPU almost. Where does that kind of growth look going into Vera Rubin? You introduced the new NVLink with each new chip. How do you see that then moving with the next generation?
Super nerdy, super good question. As you know, we used to have a network technology called InfiniBand, and we still do, and it is still the best scale-out networking technology. In the last 5 years, we invented 3 new networking platforms. The first one is called NVLink. It's a scale-up switching architecture. It makes it possible for us to take one GPU, connect across 72 of them in one rack, and turn the entire rack 140 megawatts of power, 140 kilowatts of power, 140,000 watts of power into one unified computer. The second thing that we did, that's called NVLink. The second thing that we did was we created Spectrum X Ethernet, a new type of Ethernet, enhanced Ethernet for AI, not just normal off-the-shelf Ethernet, which is too jittery, too low, too high latency. It's designed for classical networking, not AI computing. So we invented Spectrum X networking, Ethernet. That allows us to scale out. NVLink scales up, Spectrum X and InfiniBand scales out. And then now we made it possible for us to connect multiple AI factories into one giant factory, and we call that Spectrum XGS for gigascale Ethernet, which allows us now to scale across AI factories to build these AI super factories. And so we now have 3 networking platforms: scale up, scale out, and scale across. And these together, our networking opportunity, you just mentioned, grew incredibly in the last year. Just our Ethernet product line grew to an annualized rate of $10 billion. And that's just gotten started. And so you could see that networking is going to be a very big part of our business. Now, that's fundamentally recognizing the fusion of computing, networking, and software. That fundamental understanding at NVIDIA for AI almost 15 years ago now, and you guys have been following us for a long time, over the course of the last decade, it's really gone into turbocharge. But this fusion of computing and networking and software is really what makes NVIDIA's AI factories so great. And these factories, as you know, are so expensive, such a large investment. Our performance per watt, our token generation per watt, our computing per watt is, watt is energy. computing per power is the world's best. As a result, because your factory is power limited, our revenue generation is the best of anybody. And then our performance per dollar, our performance is so good. Our performance per dollar is incredibly good, which allows us to deliver the best gross margins to our customers. And then we do this every single year, increasing these step-ups, these generational step-ups, so that we can help our customers grow, help them drive down cost, and because the token performance is so high, help AI get better and better.
Jensen, I know it's so amazing to see you, put on your technologist hat, but then also put on your sort of diplomat hat as you've had to navigate all of this different stuff over the past year. Dan's going to get back to another very nerdy question to close us out. But before we do, you and other corporate CEOs here in the US have really been working with the administration to achieve your goals. Of course, the government becoming part owner of Intel, and they've opened the door to other deals. Have you thought about similar deals, other kinds of partnerships with this administration?
No, and it hasn't really come up. I think the President Trump and his administration wants to make America great. In all of my conversations with them, that's 100% there. It's about reindustrializing the United States because we need to have manufacturing here. We need to be able to manufacture critical technology here. We want to have a manufacturing economy here. And that vision for reindustrializing the United States is a wonderful vision, and we should get all behind it, and NVIDIA is all behind it. The second vision that we're part of is to help the United States. He wants America to win the AI race. It is the most consequential technology of all time. This is the beginning of a new industrial revolution. This technology will be the foundation technology for the next, several decades, the next century. And it's the most consequential thing that could drive productivity, industrial advance, social advance. And he understands that. And he wants America to win the AI race. And so when we speak to him, most of the conversations are really just centered around those navigates around those two topics. Where it ends up at those two topics all the time, and he's singularly focused on helping the United States and helping America be great again. And so I've always enjoyed the conversation with the administration. They're very constructive. They're trying to help. They have a great sense of urgency, which I love. And I can't say enough great things about it.
Jensen, I want to ask one more question on the nerdy side. Obviously, NVIDIA started out as gaming, still a huge gaming company. You guys build the chip that goes into the Nintendo Switch, and Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch 2 is selling like gangbusters at this point, beating out the original sales. There's obviously your own chips. How does the gaming market demand look right now? Obviously, we're going into next year. We're going to see Grand Theft Auto coming out. That's probably going to be on PC at some point. That'll get more people buying more chips. How does that market look at this point for you guys?
As you know, NVIDIA's gaming GPUs brought CUDA to the world. It was on GeForce, the back of GeForce, that we brought CUDA to the world and revolutionized computing. It was GeForce that made possible the AI revolution. And now what's amazing is AI is coming back to revolutionize GeForce for gaming. And this last quarter, I think we had a record quarter for gaming between GeForce and Nintendo Switch. As you know, Nintendo Switch 1 is completely revolutionary. I'm really proud of it. It is this highest grossing, highest selling game console in history. It's just utterly unimaginable, the success of Switch 1. Switch 2, off to an enormous start, even more successful, I think, than the Switch 1 started. And you could just imagine how far it's going to go. I'm proud of Switch 2. I'm proud of Switch 1. We did several things. We designed a revolutionary SoC, like revolutionary computer chip that delivers incredible ray tracing capability, incredible AI and AI rendering capability we call neural rendering. And we do it in a little tiny power envelope. It's really amazing. that the frame rate of Nintendo Switch 2 is so silky smooth. You don't feel any frames anymore. And so the technology is really refined, really polished, and the images that it's generating is so incredibly beautiful. We use neural rendering. It's amazing. We compute a few pixels, and then we use AI to predict, to generate a whole bunch of pixels. And as a result, we save a lot of energy. We produce really beautiful images. And so I'm just really proud of the gaming business. We're really passionate about it. Very few people ask me about it these days, but I'm really grateful that you do. I'm just incredibly proud of Switch and incredibly proud of GeForce.
I got to tell you real quick, Cyberpunk looks amazing on it. I think that just knocked people out of their socks because of that. But Jensen, we wanted to thank you so much for joining us. Josh, back to you.
All right, and our great thanks there to NVIDIA CEO.
Thanks, Julie.
Jensen
Thanks,
Huang.
Dan.